Welcome back to the channel. This is Orca Boats and I am Rod. Hey, I've got this, I don't know, we call it kind of a freighter canoe in the shop here. Brought in to replace a whole bunch of frames. I think there's 11 frames I've already replaced inside. But some of the planking, which is shiplap, was a little bit cracked and worn. So rather than rip it all apart and replace a whole bunch of planking, due to kind of cost and age of the boat, we decided that we would just kind of spline in and try to fill some gaps. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So let's get to it. I'm doing a little bit of a repair on this. I think it's a big freighter canoe, but it's awfully wide. It's kind of a hybrid between a freighter canoe and some sort of rowboat. I have no idea who built it, where it came from, but I've replaced some ribs, frames in here, but we've got some planking here that has got some gaps in it. Now this is a, well, we call it shiplap, so it is overlapping, not quite the same as a lap strake with a beveled edge, but sort of a, you know, it's got the notches like so, and the next piece fits over top of it. So what I'm planning to do, or what I have been doing, is cleaning out these gaps and putting a thin spline in there to sort of bring the planking back together again. What I have here is a piece of wood that, if I want my router bit to be centered right down that line, I've had this distance of this plank set to the center of the small router bit, which is a quarter spiral cut, to the edge. So I've measured from sort of the center to the, well, we'll use this edge here, from the center to the edge is 1 3/4. So this piece here is 1 3/4 wide. I then lay it down one edge on the groove that I'm going to be routing down the center, and then I'm taking this simple little stick here, and with some canoe tacks I'm just tacking this down. Yeah, I need it to be flexible because of the curve of the boat. I can't use this as a guide because of the flexibility or the curvature of the boat. I can then just tap in a tack, which, you know, of course will leave a small mark in the boat, but no more, no less than all the dings and dents that are already in here. So this batten will have a slight curve to it. Take away my guide there. I should be able to run my router against that fence, and I will be dead center down that line. Now, not doing the hole, I've kind of determined that I think I need to start from there and end somewhere there. Would be more than enough. Alright. Now, the other thing is I've set the depth of the router, or sorry, well, laminate trimmer. I've set the depth of the laminate trimmer to be just slightly under 1/4. The planking is 1/4 inch, and I don't really want to go right through and grind into any ribs or frames inside. So I don't know, some of it is kind of burning, but it's a brand new router bit. The second one I've been through, because a couple of spots, you know, came a bit too close to the copper tacks, and you know, kind of took the edge off the bit itself, and not going to cut very well after that. Okay, so the router bit leaves sort of a rounded end, so I am just kind of just rounding these edges over here. Should be going in that way. Oh, rounding the wrong way. That should fit nicely in there. I'll do a bit of trimming, but what's our length like going in? I think we need to trim another 1/8 of an inch off of there. Seems to be going in pretty good there, but probably a slight trim, a little bevel to the bottom side. A little tight up in here as well. It's burnt wood stuck in there, cleaning up the edge here. So I'm assuming the router is burning a little bit, either it's getting a little bit hot or the material itself, the wood on the boat, the varnish is getting into the bit and heating up and melting and burning and leaving residue on the bit. So the question is, how deep have I gone? I'm just kind of pushing this down and putting a mark on there. And I want to see if I'm getting to the bottom of the groove I've made. I'd say we're pretty close, but I think I'd like to take one more shaving off. This thing seems to be going in quite well. Glue, tapping that in, that's going to be a nice tight fit. Of course, now I've got to get it out. That's just one. I have one, two more on this side, or three more on this side. Three more on this side. I've already done several on the other side, glued them in, and a couple more to do. I've completed all the small pieces that are going to be just splined into here. And now I'm just going to glue them in. I'm brushing in some regular epoxy, fast hardener. I'm going to thicken the rest up and spread it in there and hammer these pieces in. So in the epoxy I've mixed in some 404 high density filler, and then I'm just going to spread on here as best as I can without making a mess. It's just some epoxy. More is better than not enough. I want to make sure that it's going to squeeze out as I drive this in. And granted that, you know, this boat being full shiplap, overlapping planks, this is probably not, quote, the proper fix. But this is the fix that was offered, as in, you know, sort of the age of the boat, the condition of the boat, the value of the boat, you know, and how much longer the owner might keep it for. This is just to sort of try and keep some water out and give it a few more years of rowing. So what he has in here, can't see it's upside down of course, but what he does with this boat is it's got a sliding rowing seat that he's adapted into it. Apparently it rows quite nicely, he says. So we're going to tack that in there. Make sure it's well down. Tomorrow, and that's hard, to just plane it flush. So the next day, I'm just going to plane down these pieces. I now have all of the splines in. I've done a bit of sanding. I got a little bit of finished sanding to take care of. I think the customer is just going to take care of all the varnishing once the work is done. I have yet to just kind of reset some of the tacks that I put in the new frames. My arms are quite not long enough to reach inside with an iron or hold an iron outside and be peening over the copper nails on the inside. I'm going to need some help for that. And thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and maybe become a subscriber to follow other videos in the Orca Boat Shop. See you next time.